Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in today's AFK journey video, we're going to talk about Clashfronts but with my VN account right here as we went through some battles, so that for those of you guys who are still unclear what to do, we will talk about all the important stuff that you will need to know, at least with regards to the battles as well as the key pointers you need to take note of. So first of all, for the basic side, all the rules are clearly specified. That's 5 different rounds per game, so there's a total of 20 different rounds, and each rounds will group you with different guilds from different tiers based on your guild ranking, and then based on your ranking itself you will be able to secure different levels of rewards, and this is how the guild versus guild work. And then each round has multiple different rounds, or each battles between the guilds itself have multiple different rounds with deployment, battles as well as the point calculation, and then move on to the next round. So this repeats 5 times every single cycle. And one very important stuff is to claim your daily guild rewards right here. So right here I've claimed it. This chest over here, very important, because this reward right here is quite a fair bit of guild coins on a day-to-day basis. So this is the settlement rewards in case we get top 1, which is 2,200 guild coins, but this is 600 per day. So we have 5 different rounds, so bare minimally 5 days worth of daily chests that you can claim, and that's quite a fair bit of coins if you ask me. And then on top of that, if your guild is strong enough, if you're able to sort of occupy a lot of tiles over here, you'll be able to get more rewards, be it more Twilight Essence or more gems along the way as well. So this is very important for everyone, including the casual player, to at least log in to deploy your teams for battle. So that's for the daily reward side. Now next, let's move on to the combat system. Okay, I think this is something that a lot of people ask me about. What is the combat system about? So for me, this is me as a member of the guild, so I will be speaking about this as a member of the guild, and I also try to include points where the leaders need to take note about, right, in terms of this GVG itself. So for members, it's quite straightforward, right? On the screen right now, you can see like a few notice from the leaders itself. So for me, I'm a man mode now, so I just follow the instructions given over here and deploy the necessary teams to go after specific tiles, or like follow the instructions of the guild, be it retreat, deploy how many teams, etc, onto the different tiles right here. Now if you are a leader, you have the responsibility to deploy the vanguards, which are the members that can deploy 5 teams as well as fight the skirmish battle. So I'll showcase the skirmish battles later. And then the goal of this game mode is to secure as much points as possible to get the best ranking at the end of each cycle and get your best rewards for the ranking side of things. So this is your ultimate goal as a leader in terms of what you need to do. So daily strategizing, where your guild needs to move, who to assign as a vanguard, where the vanguard assigns their team, as well as what's your point efficiency, shall be taken into consideration as a leader for the guild, so that your guild can get as much points as possible, and then from there you will be able to secure better rewards for your guilds in general. So that's for the leader side. Now for the member side, right here I just follow instructions, but I think for the member side, what you want to do is to make sure you follow the instructions carefully, because for this season, one thing I've noticed about this season is, other than the occupation point, there's obviously the daily rewards to consider. So certain guilds might want to, instead of winning first, second or third, want to occupy more grids, have an agreement with other guilds so that we are able to maximize our daily rewards. That is one, that could be one. And then another thing is with regards to the report side, right? So this is something that you guys might be concerned about. So for the battle side, for those of you guys who have been playing the game since the first version, I'll say the battles are pretty closely similar. You can view the report right here. And then this tile over here had a battle between our guild Phoenix and Police VN. And then this tile over here had a battle between Heaven as well as Dang Chap over here. So this one has all the point records and which guild has the point at the certain part of the tile itself. So Heaven had 20 points from skirmish, 100 points from melee, and 30 points from trials, with 45 teams remaining out of the 70 teams deployed right here. So for this battle, let's run through how the skirmish looks like. Okay, so skirmish can only be carried out between the vanguards, or rather this tile can only be deployed by the vanguards. And for this battle itself, there is a possibility of 4 different vanguards battling, and then they will have a point system to award the grand winner with the most points, and then like maybe the second, third, and fourth with lesser points subsequently. So the tiles where you have at least 4 lines connected has a possibility of a 4-way vanguard battle or a 4-way guild clash, because with regards to how you can move on to the next tile, you will actually need to have another territory connected prior to this tile over here. For example, this tile, right? If you want to take this tile, you need to occupy either this tile that my guild is occupying, or the bottom tile over here, or these 2 tiles at the extreme left and right corner. So this is how you occupy onto the next tile. So for this 4-way tiles, obviously they will have a potential for a 4-way battle, I guess. In a sense, like if let's say there's 4 different guilds holding on to each point, and then they decide to go on to the first one, that's where for the vanguard battle part there could be a 4-way battle. So then the vanguard teams will battle it out, and then there will be a ranking, like the last one surviving, and the last one surviving will have the highest point for the skirmish portion for your guild. So that's for the skirmish portion. And then one thing to take note of is that for the skirmish portion, or the skirmish portion, your teams that are used in the skirmish part will also be able to participate in the melee part. So if you guys take a look at the battles at the top, right? There's a skirmish, there's a melee, there's a combat. Okay, so skirmish is the battles between the vanguards of each guild. Melee is the battles between the players of each guild, and combat trial is a PvE where we challenge the guardians of the tile itself. So if you're able to kill all of the guardian monsters over here, right here is glitch shape, right? So you will be able to get the combat trial points for your guild as well. So these are all the different ways you can gain points. And one thing about the teams or the skirmish battle as well as the melee battle is that for the skirmish battle, if we scroll down right here, this is my guild's record, by the way, right? So the teams takes on each other based on the power of the different teams in your guild. So you'll start with the stronger few and then move down, and then over here you can see Judas right here, right? So Judas is the vanguard. So this is the team that he fought NTL with, and then this is the team that is here as well. So what this means is the vanguard team will also be able to take up in the melee PvP battle as long as their team power is high enough. So let's say we move downwards. Okay, you can see the power numbers slowly dropping, and then you will see a Zeeebo down there because Zeeebo is kind of weak. So yeah, my account's not the strongest here, but you guys will see me later on. So right here we continue to scroll down. So you see an energy system. So once the team reaches 0 energy, the team will always lose the battle. So this is the new stamina system. It'll work like this. So last time, there is a possibility that there's no stamina system at the start, right? So they added on the stamina system. So there is a possibility that your team might be at 0 stamina. But if your stats is super duper powerful and you can overpower the opponent just having raw stats and units on the battlefield, then your team might be able to still win. But right now, once the team reaches 0 stamina, insta defeat right here, as you guys can see. So that's with regards to the stamina system. So as we continue to scroll down, okay, they will actually take out like our strongest team and then put it here. So we can't actually choose like what teams will be fielded here. Like it is all based on what the system deem is the power of your guild as well as the teams right here. So for this one, you just deploy the teams and then the AI will decide whether or not your team goes into battle. So that's for the battle part. And while we are at it, let's just run through certain teams with more than 5 win streak, I guess. I think 5 win streak teams not only must be very strong on the tier side, but also must be decently strong on the strategy side, because to a certain extent, I think the rivalry stats do play an important role in terms of securing a win streak, because most of the teams that are having a win streak over other players usually has the stats advantage. So that's number 1. Number 2, certain strategies are a lot stronger. So let's take a look at the battles here to see whether or not there are some teams which are just generally stronger. Okay, Mew team right here, not bad, 5 win streak. So let's take a look at the team right here. Okay, so Mew is using the Iron Armor's Ardent Core combo. Okay, so against probably like weaker opponents, but definitely one of the stronger combos still, Iron Armor's Ardent, because in this sort of unorganized battles, there's no way for you to pit your Dunleer or your Lilymate against the Iron, which means that your Iron Armors combo will most of the time pull through, and then unless your matchups are pretty unfortunate, it will be able to net some pretty easy win with the burst combo from Storm Strike spell right here. So another way to use Storm Strike spell is with the likes of Bonnie as well as Tarsi, which Judas over here did a pretty good job to showcase the fight. So Judas did Storm Strike with obviously Bonnie as well as Tarsi over here, with Lawson for the quick burst, as well as Damage Link with our damage boost from Talon right here. So basically for Storm Strike itself, you kind of want to feature this artifact with bursty comms in general. Assassins, Iron Armors burst, Bonnie burst, or just any teams that are able to quickly bring down the HP of the enemy to proc the Lightning Strike itself. So Iron Armors, one of the pretty good teams. So looking at this, TND, pretty good stuff as well, about 7 win streak over here. Should be yeah, Bonnie Tarsi comp. So the core is a Bonnie Tarsi comp. So in the battle tomorrow, or rather I'll release another video tomorrow to talk about my best team as well as my team building ideas, and also showcase a few teams which I think are pretty decent that you guys can use specifically for Clashfronts on the strategy side. So stay tuned for that. So for this one, this is Judas' team. So Judah was running the Tarsi and Bonnie combo as well. Right, Tarsi Bonnie is pretty solid. Tarsi Bonnie with a whole bunch of magical damage dealers, really solid stuff. And then we have, let's scroll down. Okay, MP did quite well. I think it's a 5 battle here, so technically 4 win streak, but 5 battles. So MP's team is Iron Armors Arden. Okay, very solid team. So this 2 is pretty solid. Another very solid team is definitely Dan and Dunleer. Dan and Dunleer was the strongest Clashfront team in the previous iteration, because Dan pretty much shuts down most of the team archetypes, and then Dunleer just carry you. But with Bonnie's introduction, that team might not be the strongest. So I will see whether or not I can see some records, and I will test out the team against all this Bonnie setup to see whether or not the Dan and Dunleer team is still the strongest. But that team is definitely another really solid team archetype, which we'll talk about tomorrow as well. So that's for the team building side. So Nitamago right here, 8 win streak, Bonnie and Tarsi. So yeah, these are the generally, I'll say, like more solid comps, right? So we have Dakabi over here. This is a win streak against the PvE side, Combat Trial. This is with Graveborn teams. Yeah, so Bonnie is pretty powerful in this game mode apparently. I guess so, because Bonnie is actually quite a strong PvP character, and the only way for you to deal with Bonnie would be to build a team to sort of counter her, which is not very possible for this sort of mass GVG sort of game mode. So those are the better team combos, right? 2 or 3 of them. Another team I can think of that's pretty decent would be a Full Mauler team, which I saw having, I think, like at least a 2 to 3 win streak just now. So let me just check. Okay, Good Quill over here. Yeah, Good Quill over here, I think probably one more from the Paragon side. But Lilymate with Odie, pretty legit. So I have a team idea with this also. Pretty legit combo. We will talk about this later, how this team works and why this team is strong. Let's see. DDC. Actually, DDC is quite strong considering he's pretty low on power, by the way. This guy is taking on a 700 mil guy with 677 mil power. So this team must be something. Let's take a look at this team. Oh, Iron Armors Arden Elsa. Okay. What about Arxie? Let's check it out. Okay, so these are the common strong teams with a whole bunch of win streak. So Iron Armors, Bonnie, Tarsi, Bonnie magical teams in general. A Mauler team I think should also be okay here. A full Mauler setup. So I don't see a lot of Mauler teams right here. Not sure whether or not people haven't built it up here, or maybe it's just not showing at the top, maybe at the bottom, I guess. Let's see whether or not there's any Maulers team. Yeah, there's not a lot of people running Maulers. So yep, that's pretty much it with regards to the battle team so far, at least based on the records I can share. So that will be the different teams that you might want to build up. If you remember, those are the few core team ideas that we can have, and then maybe a very strong team with a lot of your strongest units for the last one in terms of the team building side. Now, last but not least, we're going to talk about this Hamster feature right here, which is actually quite important, because now that I think about it, right, Hamster has this random chance of appearing, and the guild that controls the battlefield with the Hamster chest will earn 400 extra points, and this chest remains on the battlefield for 2 rounds. So if you take a look at the difference between like the guild's ranking right now, 400 points is actually quite massive. because like if you occupy the territory itself, if you go back into the territory, this is only 200 points, right? But with the hamsters, you get like 200 more. Is it 400 extra points per round or 400 extra points over 2 rounds? Each round deployment. Oh, okay. So the moment the chest spawns, your guild must be holding onto the tile with the chest to get the 400 extra points. Because the hamsters will appear and start searching for the treasure, and the treasure will be dug up containing a large number of points. So if you control the battlefield with the chest, you will get the 400 extra points. So the chest will remain on the battlefield for 2 rounds. So if it doesn't get claimed, then it will disappear. But it's quite unlikely. So 400 extra points is actually quite big. Considering this territory gives you 80 points, this one gives you 100 points. Even the one in the middle gives you 250. So 400 actually pushes your guild way ahead in terms of the ranking side of things. So this hamster is random appearance. Not sure where it will spawn for your side, but on my guild over here, it spawns over here. So occupying this will give us this hamster occupation point. So that's something that's quite major, because initially I thought the hamster would just be an additional gimmick, but it seems like the hamster point is something that could decide the difference between the first and second in the battle itself. So do take note about that, and that's pretty much it, all the important things that you need to know with regards to your Clashfronts. And thank you very much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the team build ideas tomorrow as well as the combo ideas. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.